Hi, I'm Julia Page. I'm a business marketing major with a minor in film, and for the week 2 discussion, I'm going to be doing option 1, which says, based on any two of our sources from this week, discuss the following. A, something you learned about the impact of African slavery on what eventually became the United States of America. B, for what reason does African slavery matter, historically speaking, and why should we study it? You must address 2 of the 5 C's of historical thinking in your answer. And I wrote them down because I feel like I kind of ramble, so bear with me. For A, for A is something you learned about the impact of African slavery on what eventually became the United States of America. I put the impact of African slavery on the United States was it shaped America's economics and political aspects. Slavery was the reason for economic growth in the southern colonies because they mainly did like all the hard work and they grew the crops like tobacco and cotton, which made the farms very profitable, and which as you can tell, caused the southern colonies' economy to grow exponentially. So and if they didn't use slavery, it would have been harder to produce the crops because it would have taken more time and it would have been more expensive because the slaves were forced to work long hours on the plantations with very little freedom, very little pay, or no pay, and harsh punishments. So, kind of makes sense, which sucks. For B, for what reasons does African slavery matter, historically speaking, and why should we study it? You must address 2 of the 5 C's of historical thinking in your answer. For that, I put African slavery matters, historically speaking, because it was a violation of all human rights. No pay or little to no pay, long hours. They were basically forced to do all that. That's not how you treat a human. Studying it matters because that violation shaped the U.S., and when we study it, it really helps us understand racism and inequality, and how it was back then for the slaves. And then you must address 2 of the 5 C's of historical thinking in your answer. I put 2 of the 5 C's of historical thinking are cause and consequence and context. So for cause and consequence, we really understand the long-term effects of slavery, which basically helped the colonies grow exponentially, their economy. And then for the context, we need to understand how slavery developed, so there's my 2 cents and my discussion. Thank you.